the new iPhone update. I'm a little worried about. When I first pulled up photos, it was like, take this new tutorial.
Hi.
I was like, you're going to keep talking?
Sorry.
We're going to keep talking
And
amongst
we're
ourselves.
live.
Hello,
Our phone's
everyone.
in an update, and I don't know if my phone is going to behave, but
Who knows?
it's going to be fine.
Who cares
Everything's
even,
fine.
right? Everything's
Denise,
fine.
Jasmine,
Everything's
Kathy,
fine.
Anna,
Hey, guys.
Tabitha, hello.
How are you? Are you guys... oh, Anna's so sad she missed the Zoom. Yeah, you'll definitely catch it later.
Yeah.
That's why we put it live, because we know not everybody was available.
And I want to watch it again.
The time, but
Like
for those of you guys that are joining us that are not part of our VIP team, we just had a phenomenal session and learned ourselves how to do energy testing, muscle testing for ourselves and our cats, and some basic techniques that really can go super far. Like,
I have so many things. So the big part, just so you guys know, though, it takes practicing. You can't just like be like, oh, this is how you do it, and then think that everything's like.
that you can.
Pam talked about the practicing part, but I already have this list growing in my mind
Of things you want to.
of things that I can't wait to test, because it's not just for our kitties. A big shout out to Mr. Green Floyd 03, Sarah and Jerry here watching with love. I love you guys.
Oh my
so
goodness, Sarah.
much.
So Sarah and Jerry are our friends and pet sitters and first parents of Jack and Madison, our kittens. And they, I think they already had this down. This whole like muscle testing, energy testing with the pendulum, doing it with the sway test.
Yeah.
The finger test, like it's so exciting. So we just learned some really awesome things. But
Jasmine
today,
said, I'm wiped out from that Zoom. Tina said, I feel like a truck ran over me. That's the thing, though. It really is such a reminder that you have to be calm, clear, and centered in a way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the exhausting part.
Right, which leads us into what we want to talk about on our podcast today, which is trying to get centered, right? Trying to be centered in the midst of a chaotic year, right? How do we stay sane? How do we stay together? How do we and we don't have we're asking you guys actually for a lot of it.
Feel free to leave.
Let's go ahead and get started with the podcast so that we can not say things twice to it. Say everything twice.
You put an intruder in there.
There's cat hairs all over. I don't mind drinking the cat hairs.
Oh God.
I don't even see it.
Fine. Okay, you started out.
Okay. Here we go. Welcome to episode number 0042 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. We're sitting in our closet in camping chairs, live on YouTube, also recording this. We have our lights, and Adrienne is digging out cat hairs from my wine with her tweezers. So there's a little mental picture for you, for those of you guys that are listening in on our podcast. So we were just discussing how we today went through. We also forgot to shut off Alexa.
Wow, we sure did.
She's playing Frank Sinatra pretty loud in the background. But today we went through an amazing class with Pam herself from Perfectly Holistic, who we've talked about several times. If you guys have listened to our podcast before or follow us on social media, everybody knows that Pam's like one of our favorite humans on the planet. And she does energy testing, muscle testing, all that woo-woo stuff that sounds so crazy until you actually experience the benefits of it. And today we got to experience the benefits of it, where we got to experience it on a deeper level from how we've understood it before, because she came into our VIP group on Facebook and taught us how to do some of the basics of energy testing, muscle testing for us. For she even said relationships. Somebody asked, can I do this for relationships? And using a pendulum, using the swaying method, just to say, is this a positive or is this a negative? And how we can practice ourselves so that when we're unsure of something, maybe it's a product that we're going to use for our cats, maybe it's a food that we want to switch to for our cats, we can actually test this or ourselves. I did it on us. Yeah, I just bought this omega supplement that was recommended to me, and I haven't started using it yet. So when she said, grab something and see what you guys can test for, and I tested it, and it was good for me. It tested positive based on my results. So So those kind of things are really, really helpful. And
It was really exciting.
yeah, but everybody was talking about after
Little
going through, and
mind-blowing.
it wasn't like we were running a marathon in this class, right? But everybody was talking about how just exhausted we feel afterwards, and she was telling us how in order to really get the best results is we have to be able to clear our minds. We have to be able to be centered. We have to, not be
Feel
high
grounded.
Anxiety. We have to feel grounded. And she gave us some tips on how to do that. But it led us into this short discussion ourselves that we've been dealing with this whole week, which is being centered. And how do you do that in 2020, in September, almost October of 2020? It is a fucking crazy year. It is COVID. Everybody's quarantined in their homes or scared or having to go out to work and scared of it, right?
Well, and there's just a lot of conflict. There's just so much
conflict
pollution in the world. Even if we are, we're self-isolating still. Even when we are, it's very difficult for that pollution not to
trickle
be
in,
absorbed, and then be taken out personally,
right,
on ourselves or
Each
whoever
other.
we're in close proximity to.
Yeah,
And it's difficult to, I think,
It's
maintain
difficult to-
sanity.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's really hard to keep yourself centered, and there are things that we know that we should be doing, and we are going to start doing those things because we've really, really got, especially this week, guys. It's been a rough one for us, to be honest. I know we try to stay smiling, and we have.
It's not disingenuous, but
No,
it is.
we have millions of reasons to smile, so it's not hard to smile. But in the dailiness,
Yeah, this podcast is really more of a reminder to ourselves of the things that we know we can be doing that help maintain the peace and clarity and calm.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of all the craziness that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Because we have neglected to do many of those things. And feel free here on YouTube, live on YouTube. Hey, Trisha and Denise. What is Denise doing? Yeah. Teresa, Dana, feel free here on YouTube Live to drop some of your own mindful ideas of how you maintain your sanity.
Yeah. And Denise said you need balance. And I get that. The problem is that when we're quarantined in 2020, what are we balancing, right? Like when it comes to work, it's like there's so much to do and there's not enough time to do it, right? It just and we are learning new things and new ways and ways that we're doing it wrong and ways that we need to change it. Hi, my love. Okay. So side note,
What?
Even on those days this week that I have we have both woken up just grumpy AF, like stub your toe, whatever it is that makes you grumpy as soon as you wake up in the morning. You know how like sometimes you're just like, I'm grumpy, and you just want to like stay grumpy all day, have that little grumpy face. Like, I'm not going to smile. I'm not happy.
Is that your grumpy face? Because that's not really what it looks like.
But you try to stay like it's almost like you just want to stay grumpy because you're grumpy. But then you see your cats and they meow at you or they do something cute and they're asking for food in the morning and loving on you. And it's like, they always give you reason to smile, right?
They do. And they're a good reminder too that they're part of our environment, my sweet lady love. And they are, they're collateral damage on a bad day. So it's important to, hi, baby girl.
It's important to stay centered for a lot of things, not just for yourself and your relationships with other humans, but your relationships with your cats and their sanity, right?
Oh, Teresa, this is beautiful. Before I go to sleep, I list a few things to be grateful for every day.
Yes.
It reminds me that there's still good happening within all the stress.
Yes.
That is one. We have Jay has a gratitude rock. I have a gratitude wood disc that I would keep in my pocket when I whittled myself. And it was my reminder every time I touched it to be grateful. I don't even know where that wood disc is right now.
I know. We used to do that. That's what I'm saying.
But that is such a great reminder.
Like, yes,
Thank
counting
you.
your blessings is absolutely a way to center yourself. If you do it first thing in the morning, if you do it right before bed, both is even better. These things are things, exercising, right? I mean, reduces stress. It can help take that COVID 15 or quarantine 15 off. That is also
I put on the
bogging me
COVID-19
down.
plus 3 on.
Right? It's like, it's totally, the weight that I put on is totally bogging me down. And it's not just looking at myself, it's feeling it, in your body. And we know that food plays a role in our overall mental health as well. Same goes with our cats, as we've talked about several times before. My little Zoe kitty back.
Trisha said, before I go to sleep, I take Xanax.
I could actually take that in the morning. But yeah, there is so much to be grateful for, but it does get.
But it's like the muscle testing, like you literally have to take time and think about it.
Yeah.
It's not like in the midst of all the rapid fire craziness that's happening. And I know there's lots of things that we can do to stay out of it. I know that for some of us, like my day job exposes me to a lot of things that I wish I didn't see or didn't know, as far as just being on social media.
Right.
Twitter, you guys, stay away from that place. It's very dark. But that's the kind of thing that, literally leaves me feeling diseased. So there's only so much we can do to put boundaries around necessities that are going to expose us to the negativity.
Yes. So
being mindful to do
for
that.
The outside negativity, you always say stay within your sphere of influence, and our sphere of influence is a beautiful, beautiful place, right? We've got you guys, we've got our cats, we've got. You guys and our cats, and you guys are literally the most like listeners or followers, our VIPs, like just
you're
the
our
most
community, our family.
Yeah, you're a family. And so we have a whole lot to be grateful for. 6 healthy cats. Goodness, my God, she's so precious.
She's so sweet.
Oh my God. I just can't.
She knows we're talking about being stressed.
Yes.
She's like, Mama, please. Be still.
Oh my goodness. But being still is a difficult.
It's an exercise.
Because it's not just what's going on in the outside world, because sometimes I don't have a problem handling that, but I am, and they say, sometimes Adrienne and I think we're invincible. We think that, what other, we could preach about things to other people, but it doesn't pertain to us.
Preach is a strong word.
We could tell people you need to stay centered, but we're like, we don't really have to be centered. Or we're like, quarantine is actually great for us. We really love it. We get to be alone, and we don't have to see people, and that's really great. But it's I think it is actually getting to us. Like, I think not being around anybody except for each other and our cats, while at the beginning it really seemed like she's got her tail in my mouth. It really seemed like, wow, this is the coolest thing. And if there's anybody I'd want to be quarantined with, it's you. And this is awesome. Now it's starting to get to the point where, like, if you have a bad day, I'm going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling good, if you have bad energy, I have bad energy, because you're the only other human.
That's
on
okay.
the planet.
So let's be honest. That has been our challenge this week.
Yes.
If one of us is having a rough day, the other one of us personalizes it.
Yeah.
Basically feeling like, well, what the fuck did I do to piss you off?
Right.
It literally has been, it has been the absence of us practicing the things that keep us individually centered.
Yeah.
That has gone. The veneer of
civilization.
The veneer of civilization is very thin, and it is almost gone. But shout out to Margaret Thatcher on that observation. But for us, it's like when we just let it, first we'll let working out kind of
dwindle.
We'll just stop doing that. And then it's like, oh, the eating good thing, whatever. Let's have a pizza at 10 o'clock at night in the bed. And then it's, we don't need to do this, or we don't need to do that, or we forget to be grateful, and then you end up with a week like this where both of us are feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, busy, not finding the same kind of, not able to get ahead of the curve with work. Right. for two CCL, for two crazy cat ladies, or in my day job. So it's this constant exhaustion, and then we are personalizing it because we don't have the buffer of feeling like there's any sort of calm or peace to be had.
Yeah. I feel like actually this week is, I don't remember maybe it's happened. It's been 5 years that we've been doing this, that I've been doing Two Crazy Cat Ladies full time. This week, I feel like was the first time that I did not like what I was doing. I was like, I want to quit my job.
What?
Yeah. Like
you didn't even tell me that.
No, but I mean, it's just.
Was it the good part of the job, or was it the website and the design part and the?
All of it's good. Like on any other week, any other day, and when I'm centered, when I am, all of that would be fun. All of that would be great. But everything this week was like, exhausting. I don't want to write a blog. I don't want to redo this design. I don't want to have to make all these decisions. I don't want to have to answer the phone. I don't want to answer people's questions. And this is stuff that I love to do. I really love to do. But because I'm like losing my sanity, I don't feel like, and it's definitely coming through. Like people were, I mean, it's been happening for a week. Like on the VIP last week, everybody's like, why is your energy so low? And we're like, our energy is kind of low. And then it just went the whole week. It just went down more and more. And everybody's like, I know everybody sees it because we can't hide. We don't hide things.
No, but it is really, I mean,
that's why we have to talk about it here on the podcast.
Right. Like number one, let's talk about some of the things that we know that we've been neglecting to do.
Yes.
Number one is
eat healthy. Drink a lot
water. Drink less alcohol.
That was actually, less alcohol, more water.
More water.
This week, also, we ran out of Catalyst, which is one of our products that I take every day. And it's actually, it's actually the reason I drink water, because I mix it with my water. And I don't really normally I don't like water on its own. And so this week I was probably dehydrated all week, which I'm sure led to a lot of my mental, downfall.
Well, it never helps with cocktail hour either.
Yeah.
Once you start off dehydrated. Not a good idea. So eating healthy, drinking our water, staying hydrated, drinking less alcohol.
Yeah.
Exercising, just getting out, getting the blood pumping, but also more on a perspective level is acknowledging our sphere of influence on a regular basis. And by sphere of influence, I mean those things in my life that I am personally able to impact, that I have an influence on.
Yeah.
And when I allow myself to get frustrated with things that are going on. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world right now, y'all. Whether it's the wildfires, whether it's the riots,
whether it's the hurricanes,
who knows what it is. And it's hard not to just get emotionally sucked into those things.
Yep.
When I remind myself what my sphere of influence is, that brings peace, because I know that there are certain things that I can impact. Maybe there is a rescue that we can tithe for that month that's going to be helping the people in the wildfires. Maybe there's not, but maybe what that means is I focus on the fact that
I like that idea.
I should be instead of spending my time on my hamster wheel of anger or fear or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I should be going for a walk at night.
Yeah.
Or I should be getting up and doing like these things, like the decision to either do or not do something that is going to positively impact your health.
Yes. You need more you time and less us time.
Dana said empathy are horribly draining.
I do have to say this, Bonnie. So I understand where you're coming from with that, but you guys don't understand how much of a lift you actually have been. Like even in our down days when we're not feeling right, we're not feeling good. I think it was Friday on our afternoon live on Facebook. Neither one of us had even talked. We were not like in a great mind space, but that second that we go live, we're like, and then you're totally funny. And then after that live, our spirits are lifted. Yeah. Like we feel a lot better. Now I know that it's not healthy to not be centered and rely on you guys to be
but it is that ripple effect of what we allow within our boundaries.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I know when I get done with my day, one of my most favorite things is to go to our VIP group and get caught up on VIP, because even if there are challenges that are going on, you see the support and the love and compassion of everybody in that group. You see the funny things that people post. You see just the best of humanity there. Jay, and I was checking the page after checking our group, and I think that was Thursday night or Friday night. I can't remember. But it was one of those days where we're not really talking. And it's probably best that we don't, because anything we say is going to be like, personally, you know what? Right. You can just go take that. And like we were just very conflictual.
Yeah.
She was like, "What are you looking at over there?" Because I was smiling, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in the VIP group, catching up on VIP," because it was such a shift from how my face had spent the entire day. You know,
Your face.
My face was not happy all day long. And this was a great thing. But I think it is a good reminder of everyone's sphere of influence. All of you were all in each other's, like Pam was talking about today on the Zoom, everything's energy.
Yeah.
And I think now is a really good time to remember that and decide how we're going to spend that energy and where we're going to invest it.
Yeah.
And we have
neglected
neglected to do that.
Yeah. We really have. We've been, we have been focused. So I think I've been focused. You know, I haven't missed anything. My list was completely checked off, and there's other weeks that I've got so much on my list, and the only thing that stresses me out that whole week is the fact that there are so many things on the list that I had to move to next week because I couldn't get it done. This week, I got everything done on my list every single day, and I still wasn't happy.
Oh, and that's usually your favorite thing.
Since I was like forever, my list.
Different colored pens to mark stuff off her list.
Yes.
And even if she has something pop on her list while she's too busy to write it down, when she's done with that item, she will write it down in one color ink and then
mark it off with the other.
And it is a great source of joy for her.
It is. I mean, being productive is normally something that really makes me feel, I don't work with, like, Adrienne can't be like, you did a great job at work today, babe. Like, you can't.
No. Well, even when I do say that, it doesn't mean as much coming from me.
Right, because you weren't, right.
I wasn't part of it.
Right.
And so you'd be like, oh, yeah, well, you have no idea what I even did.
Yeah, and I don't even have any idea what I did unless I look at my list.
But I do want to say, so Pam was talking earlier today, and Pam is here. She just mentioned some people are natural sponges and absorbing other people's energy, which can be very draining. But she was talking today when we were talking about muscle testing, the ability to get grounded and to set an intention. It's one thing to be super busy, to have all of these items that we're putting out to accomplish.
Right.
But when we have no set intention, and I think that has always been a daily thing for us.
Yeah.
It has always been, like going back to what Teresa said, you start by being grateful for things. You put your mindset in a place of, this is what I intend to accomplish today. The motivation behind that is, and then that's your fuel tank for the day. Yeah. And we have not done that. And so even Pam talking about that ability to set an intention before you are, calm, and it's very much that same kind of energy. Yeah. Acknowledging that same kind of importance. Yeah. In our day. Yeah. And we've been very busy. Yep.
I'll say yesterday was a good day. Yesterday was great. Yeah, and I think that it was the only good day of the week, like in my mind. I mean, it was the only but I did, yesterday when we were laying out, we had some in the backyard, we had some calming music playing.
There were some funny songs that played.
There were. We laughed up. We were like, what is that? But I looked up. It was breezy outside. I look up and I see these palm trees just like blowing in the wind. And I felt centered for that moment. And I was like, oh my God, I remember this feeling. Like, I haven't felt this in so long. It was great. And then I wake up this morning to an alarm. And then you woke up to me pulling up live on my phone, which we did talk about in advance. I said, are you okay? Yeah. But
notice I didn't say a thing, but you did have a lot of
You didn't have to say a thing. You rolled over and pulled the covers over you. You didn't have to say anything.
There was no growling.
I was just like, oh no, I have to get out of bed. But we had talked about streaming it there was a great
that moment with the palm trees though, that's a really good, like Eckhart Tolle talks about, great author by the way, Eckhart Tolle talks about the importance of being present. Yes. And I think that's something that I keep getting on the hamster wheel about, of what the fuck is going on in the world right now. Yeah. And everybody is speculating, right? Nobody knows what to think. Everybody's judging everybody. There's all this crazy stuff out there. I mean, that's just one mindset. It's not like the whole world is that way, but the ability to be present and to evaluate my current situation, well-being, health, happiness, like everything's actually okay right now. Not that we shouldn't be mindful of decisions that we make in our lives that impact other things, absolutely. but being present, taking a minute to just feel peaceful, watching the palm trees in the wind.
Yeah, the power of now.
Yes,
Yes.
is also something that we miss when we don't set an intention that keeps us centered throughout the day, knowing what's motivating us, and just make it a task-oriented, got to get it done, got to get it done.
Yeah.
Can't breathe, think, or be happy by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that has been the majority of our week for
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Unfortunately, it has.
Lindsay was watching that live this morning too, and they had a hard time. There was a great live that was being shared in Inside Scoop this morning, and they had audio difficulties, and it took almost an hour to get it up and going, but so worth the wait. But it's funny. I mean, people, you think about how they can set your mood when things go wrong. Yeah. And you could have. Well, I was waiting for you to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not even going to worry about it.
No, I was like, well, you know what? It's because yesterday I asked Lindsay to watch it with me.
Yeah.
And she was about like, fuck it. She was like, you know what? I'm going to give it like 5 more minutes and then I got to get
my day on.
Right?
Come on.
And I was like, I'm going to multitask it. And by the time I was watching, I was already up and feeding the babies and stuff like that. But because it was really early for us. It's not as early on the East Coast, but for me, it was like super early. That's why I had to set an alarm to watch it, because normally I'm going to try to be asleep at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I'm like barely waking up, right? Maybe. Sometimes I'll sleep until 7:30.
Yeah, and sometimes you're awake at 4:45.
But whatever. I'm
just saying.
Anyway.
And sometimes you're chatty at that hour too.
Shut up. In my sleep, I'm chatty.
No, I mean, it's just like, ooh, are you awake too? I am now.
No, but what was that? Oh, but it was a very important live because it was going to teach us some stuff for our business and things that we need to do, and we did. We learned better, but I didn't say fuck it and walk away, because I was also accountable to Lindsay, because she doesn't even know how important just her accountability is to me.
Yeah, and Lindsay said, but that live did spark a whole new mindset, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was incredible. I think that's
we're going to be
and
making
we talked
some
about
changes.
that a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of new things, and it was a live that was about the technology that we use to help,
it was for content creators, right?
Yeah, content creators, social media, that sort of thing. Because a lot of times, and you guys know this, you start doing something and that's what you do. And it's just like, never know how to necessarily make it more creative or bring more value to what we're putting out there.
Right.
And this live,
and that's where I
really got the wheels turning.
And that live was very good for me because it brought me back to the reason why we're doing, and my conversation with Lindsay afterwards, the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing. Like when we're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it just feels like a task, a little, like it's a great task, fun tasks, things like that, but it feels just like tasks instead of like, why are we doing everything that we're doing? Remember, like last year or the year before, I was like, we need to tell ourselves every single time before we go live that we are bringing education and entertainment. Like we're here to deliver happiness and deliver education.
I do remember that.
Remember, and like we did that like 4 times, and then completely forgot.
That's a lot of pressure.
Completely forgot that.
A lot of pressure. Hey, Jody. Well, no, but that's the perspective thing, though, too. It's when we're in a place where we are feeling centered and excited about what we're doing, it's a lot easier to share stuff that we have learned that's going to be helpful to others.
Well, that's what we're doing.
And to also be, right.
That's the educational piece.
Right. But sometimes it feels like, well, where's our rundown of this live? You know what I mean? And trying to script stuff is has never been.
Not on a live.
No, it has never been a good idea for us.
No, scripting is not really great for us, unless we're making like a little how-to video, which you guys will probably see a lot more of that on social media coming up, because we're going to
the wheels are turning.
Yeah, we're going to be trying to, do a bit more.
Oh, this is a great Oh, hi, Heather. She said, so late. First thing I do when I win the lottery is switch my schedule. So I'm not working on Sundays, girl. We miss you every Sunday.
We do.
Tina said, as far as like getting centered, she said, I take a drive up into the mountains and just sit by myself and try to regroup. It centers me to just look over the canyons and trees and watch Mother Nature's work.
So Tina, I am totally
Brilliant.
like you. That's what I was saying. What I was about to say actually is yesterday in the backyard, looking up at the palm trees and just being like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
What it reminded me of is those moments that I felt centered and that we used to do 2 or 3 times a month even, was going up to the mountains and going camping or going hiking. If we weren't going camping, we were usually going hiking. And then we would literally climb up to a rock somewhere, overlook. If we were camping, we'd be sitting under all of these pine trees, the smells, the fresh air, and hiking, we would climb up to like the most beautiful rock, be overlooking, the canyon and sometimes even the city, and literally just like sit there. We wouldn't even talk to each other. We would sit there. We would just start feeling really good, breathing in fresh air, and then, hike back down. And we'd be like, okay, we're good. But we haven't done any of that. I know I keep talking about it.
Like 3 years.
In 3 years,
3 years. Yeah, so it's time.
We've
I'm
hiked a little bit.
Surprised we've
hiked a little bit. Well, we haven't camped in 3 years. I know.
Oh my God.
What?
Barry Smith is here.
Stop it right now.
Oh my God.
Barry, hey.
Hey, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, Barry Smith, best man at my wedding, also known as Harry Barry, the weather fairy, best meteorologist you'll ever meet, and a dear friend for almost 20 years now. Wow, how are you? Oh my God, we need to catch up.
And here's a true story. When I met Barry, I had a huge crush.
Yes, you did.
I was like,
he is a good man.
I want that
and
man.
He's handsome.
Then found out he was gay, and I was too.
Wow, way to out him here. It's funny how the world works, right? Oh my God, I miss your handsome face. I'm so well. We are so well. We were just talking about how much more we need to focus on being centered and peaceful and still be productive.
Yeah.
2020 is a crazy year, you guys. And I love some of these other suggestions that you guys are popping in here because it is about, it's like exercising a muscle to maintain a perspective that is going to, is healthy. Yeah. There's so much shit going on in the world by people that don't necessarily take the time to think about what their ripple effect is.
Yeah. Well, when because I don't get too bogged down by the politics, right?
Well,
the politics.
You put everything in your queue.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I get bogged down by the politics. Right. But when I turn off the news, right? So that helps. Like, I don't pay attention to it and I don't believe it when I watch it. So it's just like, bleh, that's dumb. So other than staying away from it, all of that creeps in on an election year. And this is a big one, guys, right? It's a big year. I realized that it's an election year. And as much as we are like, but it's a horrible election year. We've never been more divided. In fact, we said that last election year.
That's true.
We did. We said the exact same thing. So it's like, it seems new because it's 4 years later, but... And 4 years before that, and 4 years before that, the
whole country gets hopped up on goofballs.
Everybody gets divided when it comes to who they're going to vote for.
Which is a good time to remind everybody that there's such a thing called primaries. There's also state, local elections that would be awesome if we were this passionate about those things, because we wonder how the shit rises to the top. But the news is a complete downer. They can't seem to talk about anything good or happy. Well, that's not the way the news is supposed to work.
Yeah,
having worked there, I realized that I spent 4 years getting a degree.
She's actually the reason.
Something that doesn't matter.
She's actually the reason I don't believe in the news, because that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7 years ago. 8 years ago, she worked for CBS, local Las Vegas. Favorite still to this day, my favorite weather lady and my favorite.
Good people.
Traffic. I don't like the Tahi.
Let's not get too much into the news, but let's just say that there was a particular story that we were very much aware of, knew what was going on, and brought it to the news station
and watched how they spun it.
watched it.
Watched how they spun it into
Wow.
into being completely different story, and we were
One
like,
of
and
many,
from that
But
moment,
that was a tough one.
yeah, I mean, we had heard, we kind of knew about it. You already knew about it, like how they met every day with an agenda and things like that. And this is local, right? It's not like even national, even just the
Yeah.
local news. They're like,
I
how are we
think-
going to spin this
Do you know
story?
what I think the news should be? I think the news should be the producers meeting every morning before they start their news day. I think that should be the news. So everybody knows what they already know they're covering, how they're already going to spin it, all the interviews they already have lined up, that they're going to make it act like it's live. Like, that's the way that the news should be. That should be our newscast.
Yeah.
Is the morning meeting. And then if you want to like pay for the clickbait, then you can watch their broadcast. We're getting way too into the weeds.
No.
on this.
But I mean, that was my turn off from the news. So I
Yeah.
haven't really been a fan of the news for a really long time anyway. And right now I'm thankful for that. Another thing I could write down on my list
There
tonight
you
to be
go.
grateful for. I'm
I like
grateful
that
don't watch
Jody
the
just
news.
said, we were talking about Barry, beautiful man in our lives, and she said we've all had a Barry in our lives. I think she's referring to me. I totally love this guy, and then you find out actually.
You don't like you.
Oh my gosh, Barry said the news is less realistic than the poop fairy.
See, this is why we love you.
This is why we love
Barry,
you, Barry.
we need you in our lives more often.
Oh, you guys. Okay.
Anyway, so let's wrap up this
Let's wrap it up.
podcast. I think we just need to take action. I think
It
we
is.
just need to
So this week, and we're gonna hold
let's
ourselves
all do
accountable
this together, right?
next week. This week on Monday, we're gonna do at least 3 works. I'm gonna do at least 3 workouts a week.
Okay.
You figure out what you're doing.
Yep.
We're gonna start doing some exercising. I'm gonna spend some time being very mindful of my sphere of influence and living within that.
Mhm. I'm doing meal planning.
Meal planning. So we're gonna be eating a little bit healthier, drinking a little bit less, and let's see,
Drinking more water too.
drinking more water too.
Yes.
I've never really had a problem with the water. I like to drink 80 to 120 ounces every day, and I feel like I fail if I only get 60 in. But I definitely will.
If I get 60, I'm like, man, this is the best. But I drink a lot of green tea, like organic green tea too. So I probably drink 60 ounces of that.
Oh,
Okay.
this is fun. Tina said I'm going to share something on the teen page that can help us all called Self Bingo. I am very excited about this.
Guys, if you're listening, go look up Self Bingo.
Well,
That's
now she's
what's
posting it in VIP.
I know, but I mean,
Oh, you can probably find it,
unless
yeah.
it's something you made up.
It's the interwebs,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna talk about we're gonna look up Self Bingo,
Yeah.
and that's gonna wrap up this podcast.
And a
I
big
hope
thank you to all
everybody-
of you for being part of our world and the best part of it.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening, whatever day you're listening, I hope it's a good day. And
Make it a
if
good
it,
day.
yeah, and if it's not, then do something to get centered in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. Whatever you have to do to keep your sanity, do that. And yeah, make it a
Yeah.
good day.
Sometimes I have to reach out to Jay and literally say, okay, I'm going to need you to bitch slap me right now.
She said that today,
Yeah.
and I was like,
She's like, I don't want to hit you. I was like, no, I really need you to slap me out of it. So reach out to
so I
somebody
did this.
that
I
can
was
be
like,
supportive.
like this. She was like, that is not. She was
It's
like,
not how it
harder. And I
works.
was like, no, I'm not gonna.
I just
hit
need
you.
a little like, come on.
I was like, I'm not gonna hit you. I
No.
said, you know what? You should do stand up and do a
You
little
should
dance.
do a little
It'll
dance.
make
I
you
was like,
feel
no, I
better.
don't feel like dancing. And then she did a dance for me, and that actually
It did help.
did the trick.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes just
if
dance.
you're having a bad day, reach out to somebody that can help make it better. Take a minute
or do a
and
chair
look
dance.
inside and see what you can be grateful for and things that you can do that can help your perspective as well.
Yes.
I love you guys so much.
We love you guys. We'll
Barry
see you
said
on
he's
Facebook
coming to visit
tonight.
soon. Okay,
Yay.
handsome.
Yay.
I love you.
We'll see you guys on Facebook in a little bit. And thank you for listening. Please hit that subscribe button. We love you guys.
Make it a beautiful day.
Mwah.
Bye, y'all.